Hello and welcome to episode 71 of the Youth Intake Challenge, and this is a bit of an in-betweenie. It's not the intake like we're all anticipating, it's Cup Final day. We've managed to get to Carabao Cup Final. Let's have a look at how we got there, what our chances are, and then we'll play the game and see how we go on. Second Cup Final of the series. Hopefully we can do better than we did last time, but we'll have a quick review of what happened last time and see what we can do coming into this one to see if we can improve our fortune. So stick around, it should be a good episode. And welcome back. As you can see there, it's the Cup Final, Dulwich Hamlet, West Ham. So a bit of a Londonish derby in the Cup Final. So what a better occasion than playing one of your local rivals. I think Crystal Palace are down as our main rivals, but West Ham are probably one there as well. Looking in the previous meetings, which I think we can look at here, it doesn't look particularly favourable for us. There you go. So we've played 14 times. They've won 8, we won 2. I've had a quick look at this. The first time we beat them, incidentally, was in the Carabao Cup. So we beat them on penalties after a 2-2 draw. But then in another Carabao Cup, a couple of seasons later, they beat us on penalties after a 0-0 draw. And when you analyse some of these games, I think what you can pick out is we've only ever actually beat them, I think, when we play at home. So there's 1, 2, and then a shootout victory at home. So things don't look particularly favourable for us. I think they have to be the heavy favourites for this particular game. I think when you analyse some of the players they've got compared to ours, they're streets ahead of us, and in this season already they've beat us 2-1. But we'll have a quick look at the schedule, see how we got here. I think some of these may have been played before we started, but let's look. So first round we played against Brighton, who we beat on penalties. Brighton at the time, Premier League club, 16th, so slightly below us, although it's probably a similar stature of club, so probably quite fortunate to eke through there at the first attempt. So that's the first one. And then what did we get after that? Third round against Bournemouth, we got a 1-0 win. Patrick Pepra getting a rare outing to get a goal. He doesn't play particularly much for us against Championship Bournemouth, although they're at the top of the Championship in first place. So a Premier League team, a Championship team. Barnsley, another Championship team, although down the bottom this time. That was a 2-1. Sarkodie and Yango with the goals. What did we say? They took the lead. We got 2 early goals to go 2-1 up, and it petered out after that. Man United, probably the biggest game, 0-0, but we beat them on penalties. And that was a very, very close game. I think we scored all 5 of ours. Bostwick getting the winner. So that's teed us up for a semi-final first leg against West Brom, who I think in the Championship again, so fairly easy run for us on paper. A 1-1 draw in the first leg, but in the second leg when we had them at home, we went on for a 5-2 victory with Sarkodie getting 2, Primus getting 1, Silverio and Ove. And so a fairly straightforward, I'd say, bar the Man United game, which we eked through on penalties. Not too bad of a run really. 3 Championship teams in there, a couple Premier League teams, but only really one big team in there. And then to get a final against West Ham as well, not one of the main contenders for it. I think if we look back at the semi-finals, it could have been Nottingham Forest, who are one of the teams at the top in recent years. Quarterfinals, Liverpool were still in it at that stage. So there's quite a few big teams have been knocked out at that stage. Man City going out to Cardiff, Tottenham going out to Forest, Chelsea going out to Man U. So a fortunate draw. Newcastle going out to Watford, which was a bit of an unexpected one, but we've got to the Cup, so let's see how we can get on. In terms of tactics, we've been defensive ever since the last episode we released, and I did that to try and get Giwa into the team. However, I quickly stepped away from Giwa being the first choice in there, as Robbie Harris actually stepped up to be quite a handy player in that position. He's currently at 3 stars. He's actually 3.5 stars depending on what position he plays, but he's been one of the breakouts in recent episodes, and he's kind of cemented his place in that kind of defensive midfielder role, which is really good. Primus has got 14 goals up front this season, so he's probably outscored even what our main striker Roldan was doing. And Roldan's only got 1 goal for the season. After he broke his leg, he's not really forced his way back into the team. Primus is playing week in, week out. He's got one of the highest average ratings for the team, so he'll carry on. Ozer's doing well on the left-hand side. Midfield-wise is going all right. I'm still trying to get a few games in for Remy Lippmann. Probably not played as much as he would have wanted to because I think he's better on the left than he is on the right. Although I do sometimes put him on instead of Silverio. Silverio having an all right season as well. And you can see the goal spread. I mean, Ozer, I asked for more goals from the inside forwards. He's got 12, so he's not too far from Primus. And then you can see Sarkodie, he's got 10 as well. So we've got a chance. There's always a chance in the cup final. I think last time we got to a cup final was a number of years ago now. If I can just find out where it was. Competitions, FA Cup runner-up in 2044. Can we look at the FA Cup history? 2044, beat by Newcastle. So I think West Ham might be slightly better opponents for us than Newcastle were, but what we'll do is we'll get into the game, we'll see how we get on. That way I can progress the season, and then the next episode will be the next youth intake and a bit of a review of some of the players who've done particularly well since the last episode. So this is a bit of an in-betweenie. I'll get to it, I'll set up the game, and we'll see how we can do in our second cup final of the series. Welcome back for the great day at Wembley, Carabao Cup final at West Ham. Well, not at West Ham, against West Ham. Starting lineup, we've got Ibrahim in goals, currently 3.5 stars. Back four of Onyango, Clifford, De Havilland and Bukaru. Bukaru, who I normally start at left back, is currently covering at right back because we've got an injury to Brustad. But Bukaru can play there anyway. So flat back four of defensive players, and that was to stop the number of goals we were conceding and satisfy the club vision aspects. Same as playing a defensive midfielder in Robbie Harris, who's excelled really this season. That just makes us a bit more defensively stable. And then we've got four players in attack with a supporting OVA in midfield. So OVA and Mandanda in the middle of the pitch. Normally I would have Sarkodie in there in the attacking playmaker role, but he's not fully fit. So I'm going to ease him out for now. Might bring him in at half time or in the second half if needs must. Ozer on the left, Silverio on the right, and Primus will continue up front where he's been doing fantastic this season. Still dubbed as the next Michael Owen. So Candidaton upset about being left out, but he can be upset because he's upset me more than enough with his constant whining about wanting first team appearances, then wanting to be sold. And despite me setting up multiple signings for him, we could have sold him 3 or 4 times over. He kept turning down the loans with an obligation to buy, probably because he's not creaming in as much wages as he was with us. But we'll continue to try and sell him. I did try and fit him in at certain points because we were low on midfielders, but I just think that kind of disruptive attitude in the dressing room probably needs to move on. So first 10 minutes of the game, one chance to West Ham. It's a bit of a slow burner so far. It probably suits us more than it suits them. 11th minute, first real chance for them. Perez with a free kick. He has a go and it's gone over. Tipped over by the keeper, so he got a corner. Graham will deliver it in and that goes away. So we're playing with a positive mentality because I think we should try and win and try not to lose, especially when it's a cup game. West Ham are breaking down from the side and tackled them, but the ball broke to Yaya and West Ham are 1-0 up, which is most disappointing. They're going down the right hand side. It looks like when the ball went into the centre we were getting a tackle in. Here Graham Oviehan though he's just flicked it through to Yaya and he's put West Ham 1-0 up. Regardless of the outcome of the game, it's not going to be the end of the season or the challenge or anything. The save will continue regardless of win or lose. I think the most likely outcome though is probably West Ham dominating, as I did some player comparisons before the game and they are far and away better equipped than us to win this sort of game. But whether we can get a couple of chances in, ball into Mandanda, can he cut it back into Silverio? He gets a chance, but it was nice and refreshing to see us getting our first shot of the game in the 22nd minute. Possession wise we are dominating, but we're not doing what we can. Again, we'll make some changes in the second half. Hopefully we're still in the game. 1-0 is not the end of the world. As we all know in Football Manager, a game can quickly change. And Nyanga with a throw down the left hand side now into Oviehan, breaking to the edge of the box, but he's been robbed of possession. It gives West Ham a chance to break, unless we can win the ball back. But well done Silverio, he gets the ball back. We go up long to Primus. Silverio making a move of our own. Silverio having a good game on that right hand side. Through to Onyango. into Oviedo, and ball over the top to Mandanda, into Silverio, and he gets another shot. So a couple shots for Silverio, can't quite get past his defender, but again, we're growing into the game a little bit on the 34th minute. We just need Silverio to bury one of these, although he's not as prolific by any stretch of the imagination as Oza. That kind of chance falling to Oza or Primus, and we're probably looking at getting back in the game. But corner just before half time for West Ham, and it goes, and that's the killer blow. We didn't want to go 2-0 down, especially before half time. Corner ball over the top. Did they get an overload here? And we looked all right. They just had the better of our back four, and they've gone on to cement themselves into the lead. Come on, we need a little bit more as we go into half time. 4 minutes of injury time, and there we go. So let's make some tactical changes. Let's get OVA and swap with Mandanda, and then we can get OVA off for Sarkodie for a bit more attacking. We can then get Silverio off for Bostwick, and then Oza for Littman, leaving us a couple changes if we need be, although it's mostly defensive minded players left on the bench, and then roll down. So let's see if we can get a few more shots on target. Certainly if we can get a consolation earlier to put the pressure on, but it's big half this second half, as it could be our second cup final defeat. We've been into the final of the FA Cup. This is the final of the Carabao Cup, so it's showing a bit of progression as Mandanda goes down to a bit of a dodgy tackle, but by no means a red card. West Ham coming forward again. Mandanda robs the ball high, feeds it through to Sarkodie. Bostwick gets the break and gets a shot, but not beating the keeper again, and that's it. We're just not as prolific going forward as I'd like us to be. Mandanda robbing the ball again. Littman through to Sarkodie. Bostwick tried to eke it through to Primus, couldn't quite get it through. And I think this is going to be West Ham breaking down the other end now. Over the top to Haviland. Back to Ibrahim. Harris has been robbed. Thankfully it's been defended well. Buckaroo to Bostwick. Back to Haviland. Highlight still continues. We're not going to give it away again, are we? Harris is giving it away to Jones. Graham has a shot from range, but let's encourage the team. Come on, I need Primus to get some kind of opportunity here. Playing a 6.4, not particularly great. Buckaroo with the throw in down the right hand side as we come up to the hour mark. What a time it would be to get a goal back, put the pressure on. Buckaroo. Sarkodie into Bostwick, and just grazes the top of the net. So it's not completely one way, but them two early goals have kind of put us out a little bit. Ball over top. Clifford, what are you doing? Just let it run to the keeper. West Ham with a chance. Cardelli into the middle, and just a bit of stupid defending there, really. He had the opportunity to get it away, he never took it. They let the ball recycle back in. De Havilland's coming off. Onyango with a chance down the side. It'd be frustrating if we got a goal now, because it's probably too little too late. Harris out to Onyango. Mandanda. We just can't seem to penetrate through that back line. Littman through to Primus. Just can't get it in. Primus not having the greatest of games. Let's take him off, and we'll give Sivingis a game. I was going to put Roll Down on, but I think with 3 goals down, I don't think we're getting 3 goals in 24 minutes. I think this is West Ham's day, unfortunately. Live to fight another day. We're still in the FA Cup, although I think we've got a tough draw in the next round. Littman down the left hand side, good little interchange into Sarkodie, and he had 2 bites of the cherry there, still couldn't get it forced over the line, and it's not looking like we're going to get that consolation goal. Sivginigus comes on. I still can't say his name. But just over 15 minutes to go. We've come back into it more in the second half, but I certainly don't think it's a 3-0 thumping of a game. But the scoreline's not doing us any favours as Sarkodie wins it back. We immediately give the ball away into Yaya, and it's 4. And what could have been a really exciting day out for Dulwich is turning into be an absolute drubbing. and I don't know how this is going to play into the confidence for the rest of the season, but it's certainly not worked out the way we wanted it to. Final 10 minutes. It's been an absolute drubbing of a game, and the team that beat us 8 against R2, they continue to be a bit of a thorn in our side. Chance-wise, possession-wise, it's fairly close. I think the difference is just the class in players. We still need to evolve a few of our players, certainly in that front area. As you can see, Svigindis, Bostwick and Littman finishing the game. Not as strong as our first 3, but again, Cup is over. West Ham have won. Nothing to do now, Bart. Let them lift the trophy. But yeah, we live to fight another day. It's disappointing. West Ham have their moment. Bit frustrating. But we'll end the episode there. Once again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed us getting to a cup final. As you can see in the league, we're 8 points off the push for Europe. Not sure we can get this 10 games to go. It's not beyond the realms of fantasy. And FA Cup wise, we've got Tottenham in the 5th round, so if we can get past that, we might be able to get to another kind of cup final if we're fortunate, if we can get some lucky draws. But until next episodes, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your saves, enjoy your Sunday, and I'll see you soon.